Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this fun little talk about access bars. Um, I would say we're good friends, but I haven't seen you in a really long time. But this amazing woman does a lot with access bars, and I wanted to bring her on because I wanted her to talk a little bit about like how she incorporated. Well, first of all, like what excited you about the bars in the beginning, and then like how you incorporated it with your business because you have a business where you were already working with bars, or I mean with bodies, like you already did massage. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, was that kind of your main thing when you found bars? And
yeah,
then, yeah,
yeah.
did you find bars for yourself personally and then was like, light bulb, I could use this with my massage clients? Or did you like find it and be like, oh, I could actually use this with my massage clients? Like, how did it actually start for you?
Yeah. Well, for me, interestingly enough, my a good friend of mine actually like overdosed on heroin, and like a whole circle of friends, we had no idea that he was even into that stuff.
Yeah.
And after, so I knew that I wanted to speak at his service, but I was just like, kind of, my point of view was, oh my God, like he left a son behind, like
Yeah.
just the point of view of like how tragic the whole thing was, you know?
Yeah.
And I went to one of my friends who I did Reiki Master with her, Reconnection. We've done like every single energetic modality on the face of the earth together. And I'm like, I don't know what I need, but I just need something. And she said, Julie, I'm doing this new thing called bars. And I'm like, I don't care what you got, just do whatever you got. And
Totally.
it's so cool that immediately I totally fell in love with, I'd never heard language like that before. And
Mhm.
I always knew that something else was possible, but in the session, it was just so cool that she could access things that I had locked away into my body, or like decisions that I'd made. And it just got you to like look at well, what do you believe that's creating everything around you? Because, like quantum physics has proven that your point of view creates your reality. And I just thought that, and I've all the other metaphysical stuff I've been into, it was all kind of looking at like what your point of view was. But with bars, it was so cool that you can just touch these points on your head, and you can get free of the heavy weight of all these points of views and stuff. And I guess for me, it's like, man, in a world right now where mental health is at an all-time low, right? And like even where my friend was at, it's like, what did he decide about his life that was, that he was even so wrong that he went into this pathway and ultimately led to his total demise. But like, so it's like the mental health aspect, the fact that you can touch these points on your head and just feel lighter, happier, and more relaxed naturally. It's like, dude, everyone needs to know about this. And that's the whole thing, that most people don't even know that it even exists, right?
No,
Um,
I feel exactly the same way. I mean, you know a little bit about my story. I didn't actually know your story, so thank you for telling it. That
no,
is,
cool, right on.
but like when I found bars, it was very similar. Like I had tried so many things to like get myself out of this really kind of depressed, anxious state, based on things I had experienced. And the thing the thing I love so much about it is that it's anyone can learn it. I could learn it because I wasn't somebody who like worked with bodies. Like I was a yoga teacher and I was a doula, but as a doula, you're more like there's support, but you're not somebody like I wouldn't like have a session with someone. So that was so foreign to me. And so but like when I first found it, it was more just like I had to find something, like you said, like something needed to be different.
Yeah,
And it was so immediate, and that sense of not having to stay committed to fixed points of view you may have had your whole life. And
yeah,
it's not like you have to try really hard. That's the thing that I like. I love that you said that because I wish everyone knew that, because so many
I know.
people like they're struggling, and it's like hard for people to even realize they are struggling, or not realize, but like admit they are struggling. And I think part of that is because they don't really know what to do about it. So
Yeah,
like just don't admit that you're struggling. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the
Yeah.
first way of like, dealing with stuff like that, or coping. Like how many people, like you said, for mental health, like you just go into cope mode, or you just go into like, well, this is as good as it's going to get. And like for me, since the moment I had my bars run the first time through, years and years and years later, and I don't even know how many bar sessions I've personally received, and all the bar sessions that I've gifted, like that to me, it's such a gift. So yeah, thank you for saying that.
No, well, and it's so magical that in this world of, we have to struggle to change, you have to put in hard work to change. This is the most elegant form of change because it just starts unraveling. And like you said, there's no effort that's needed. And you can just be with the session with whoever's doing the session. And there's no force, no push, no control. But how much it just lightens everything up.
Totally. So true. I mean, like for me, when I first started, like I started getting my bars run, but also I started using it with my doula clients. And I mean, the differences that I noticed in their birth processes and like those last few weeks of pregnancy, which can be kind of brutal, they would just have so much more ease. And then the birth would just be, and it's not like, and that's the thing I've said too, is like, I had gotten to the point with my own mental health that I was tired of my own story. I just did not want to tell my story anymore. And so many modalities and so many things that we do with mental health is we like think talking about whatever it is that's upsetting us is going to actually change, but it actually doesn't work.
The opposite. It does the opposite. It's like totally opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I experienced that. It doesn't work.
So what's totally cool, only on like the birth doula kind of topic. So my sister-in-law is really she's pregnant, really pregnant right now. And I worked on her a couple days ago, did massage on her. And right before we were done, I'm like, we're gonna do a little contribution to the baby. And with all this cool energy work, it's so awesome that another whole dimension of this is asking open-ended questions. So I literally just put my hands on her belly and I was like, okay, so it's like, universe, what can you contribute to this baby? And like, baby, what can you contribute to mom feeling better? Baby, what can you contribute to like moving what position could you take different that would get off mom's left sciatic nerve? Like, you know what I mean? And asking all these questions to get all the molecules around us like engaging and contributing to us, And that's like probably kind of the coolest part to me is living as the question and being able to, and my sister-in-law, she has felt so amazing since then. And I know it's because I asked.
Yeah.
So it's how magical the contribution that you can be for people. And it's not helping her. It's like, it's actually contributing to her so she can just do whatever she wants with it. But like, what a cool gift that you can. Yeah.
It's so cool. And that's like one of the things too, like, in bars classes, you do learn the 32 points of the bars and you do learn how to run the bars is what we call when you're actually doing the technique. But you also have like, there's a bunch of other tools that you learn in that class. It's a one-day class that like, it's like you could go into that class, you learn all these things, you leave, and you're like, you could choose to be forever changed, like.
Dude, I swear to God, I call it, bars is like a PhD in energetics, like the energetics and creation of your life. And it's like, how many people would love a PhD in energy? Because it's like everything is energy and energy's everything. So it's like to not be willing to look at this is like shutting off so much of the world.
It's so true. It's so true. And it's like, and it's an easy way to start to look at it, because at the same time that you might be being introduced to very different ways of being and thinking, because the access tools are very different than anything else. Even if you're somebody, because like I was really interested in energy, like all the time I was a yoga teacher, like the things that were really interested to me was like the chakras and the nadis and all the things. But I think there was always like a limitation that I functioned from, because there was a part of me that was pretty skeptical. So I really wanted those things to be like actually there and true, and things you can like work with and all of that. I wanted that. I thought that it was like happening. But the cool thing about it is that when you, at the same time that you're being introduced to different types of concepts than you may have ever heard ever, you're actually also having your bars run. And so the thing that bars can do is actually open you to different possibilities where you're actually able to see something that you've never seen before. You're able to perceive something that you've never perceived before. Like I remember when I went to my first bars class. I'd never had my bars run. And I was just like, I don't know what this thing is. I'm going to go do it. Cause I was like literally desperate at that time. Wow. And I went to the class and it was a pretty big class. And we did the trade in the morning. And I was just like mind blown. Like you run for someone's bars and you receive the bars. That's like the morning of the session of a bars class. And then, we had the break, we had the lunch, and I went back in after lunch and found a table, and the table happened to be like on this aisle, like people and I got on the table and I was laying down, and the person that I was trading with, we just started, running bars. And as I laid there with my eyes closed, I totally started to become aware of how aware I was of the people walking by.
Wow.
Now, every time somebody would come up, go by me and go away, like I would perceive them different. And even though I had been like working with people and working with bodies, and like, obviously I was aware of energy this whole time, because looking back now, like a lot of how I was as a doula, when I was physically in the doula space, I was always working with the energy. I just didn't know it.
Yeah. Like totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, oh my gosh, like it was like, so it was like twofold mind blown. Like I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to use this with all my clients. Because being able to have less fixed points of view when you go into a birth is so helpful. Right. But I also was I just immediately started to notice that like things didn't have to be the way that I thought they had to be. Like I could actually change something or choose something different for myself. And I can't explain exactly how that happened. It just happens when you are running bars or you're getting your bars run.
Magical. Totally magical. Yeah. And what would it take to not be more comfortable with our limitations than we are with like the possibilities that we don't know? You know what I mean? It's like, there's that like, I know a lot of people are, it's like, yeah, the comfort of, it's like, I don't want to change because I'm afraid of the unknown. It's like, but what if the unknown is always so much greater,
Well, and that's the thing that the bars really helps you actually to like lean into. It's like, once you start to get your bars run, it's like it's not like life isn't triggering, or it's not like things don't make you uncomfortable. But you actually have like something that you can, because for me, it's like bars are something I apply when I do them once a week anyway. But like, awesome. There's some weeks where I'm like, I got some, I've got some stuff going on, like whatever that is, because we all like this wonderful human experience is not like, no one gets out of it without being triggered or having things go on. And so to have something that's literally at the tip of your fingers to help you and all the people that, your family, people, your kids. Like my last bars class, it was so awesome. I had a couple that showed up and they were truly there to learn how to do bars so that because they had 3 or 4 children and they're going through school, and there's, school can be really, especially if your child is different, wired different, school can be really challenging. And so they were literally learning it so that they could use it with their kids. And I thought that was so freaking cool to like have people get that, and of course it's because her sister took bars, and, and that's kind of how, I mean, like you said, not very many people know about bars. My target is to definitely get it much more well known, because it's a gift to me. And I know that's your target. Like, if you don't already follow Julie, you're always so inspiring with what you put out in the world, like media and stuff. However, I definitely want you to let people know how they can find you. And I know where are you actually located? I know I kind of have an idea, but where are you located?
No, I'm in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we're kind of neighbors because I'm in Washington State, but
you're like 7-8 hours away. Yeah. Yeah.
It's in the grand scheme of things. I know so many people that don't even live in this country, like they live like in other continents. So it's like you're actually really close.
Yeah.
I was joking with Julie. I'm like, you should come here or I should go there. Like, so do you have anything coming up that you could talk about? And like, if there was one thing you could say to people who are like looking at this going, I wonder, what would you say to them?
Well, as soon as you say that, just like the light and heavy tool pops. So it's like I was driving down the road the other day and I was so proud of myself because for a while now, I've just been asking, it's like, what would it take to live more is the question. And this is like in the daily trenches of life, the coolest thing is asking questions. So I was going to pick up some sheets, like some blankets for a photo shoot I was doing. And I was also needed to go to Costco to get gas, okay, and some flowers, okay? So I was figuring it out in my head for like 5 minutes. Well, Costco might be busy at this time and all this stuff, you know what I mean? And then I finally I'm like, what would create the greatest? What would my life be like if I go to Costco first? What would my life be like if I go pick up these blankets first? And I chose the lightest one. And it worked out perfectly. Soared into Costco, came in for a landing at the gas pump, and no one was there. You know what I mean? So it's like, what if all of this is actually so much more than just doing energy work? It's like a totally different way of functioning with consciousness. And I love all of this so much. It's like a car. It's like probably the thing that I love talking about most is like.
I know, and I love that.
Like.
I wanted you to come on, and I will probably have you come on, Steph, in the future. Your enthusiasm for it, like it's so, I don't know, it's so inspiring, and it's such an invitation. And like, if I didn't know bars, I would definitely want to know what you know, because you're so excited about it. And you know, and you have had, I know you have had a lot of, like, you've just given a few, but you've also had a lot of, not just you have had breakthroughs, but people you've worked with have had breakthroughs and have just changed for them and become easier. So I love that. Do you have anything coming up that if anyone's near you, they would be able to?
Yeah, you know, I love all this, everything that has to do with all this. But on February 5th, I'm doing a little class online called Clearing Your Business Energy. And it's like, you know how you can think about something and then like the more you think about it, it's like you're layering on all these heavy energies and you don't want to do it at all. And then it's like, but what if it's for you? It's like, this is your business. It should be fun. So I know just my dealings with myself and the things that I've put myself through, it's like, I know how much energy is around that. So I thought, why not do a little class on that? But yeah, I do bars and body processes. So I'm doing a body process class for kind of in lieu of Valentine's Day about eliminating all your past thoughts and feelings. So it's really cool because I swear to God, it's better than meditation. It's less work. You just lay there on a massage table and you learn in the half day, you learn how to give and receive these these body processes, which they all have their own like energy and like kind of thrum that goes along with them. But what these energies are capable of unlocking in people's bodies is like nothing short of miraculous. And it's always cool because whatever the conversations come up in the session, it's usually like, that's actually what's changing in your body.
I love that too.
But we think that we're like, oh no, it's coming up because I'm so screwed up again. And it's like, it's this again. It's like, no, but what if it came up because it's leaving your body, you know?
Totally. That was one of the things that I always notice when I run bars is that most of the time, I mean, sometimes people just sleep through a bar session, but most of the time people will just kind of talk to you. And as they talk to you, like they don't really know what bar you're on, but you know, each bar is associated with some sort of a topic. And like, you know, that your fingers are on the money bar and they're starting to talk about like some sort of financial issue they're having, or, you know, you're on the communication bar and they're starting to talk about like that they're having a hard time with their kids and communicating. It's just like, I'm always just like, oh my God, it's so amazing. Like,
Yeah.
and you don't have to know that for it to work. You just really, truly, like you said, you just lie down and you learn how to receive. And that's one of the things Gary Douglas, who's the founder of Access, he says, bars is about learning how to receive. And so many people here, we're not taught how to receive. We don't know how to receive. They don't even know what receiving is.
Oh, we refuse everything.
Yeah.
Refuse everything. Yeah.
Don't help me.
Oh man. Do you remember when I had broken my arm? I fell off that horse a couple years ago. I broke my arm and I was like just really bored. So I started running bars every day with my mom. And we did like 102 days. Well, probably in the first 30 days, I got the cojones to ask the scientist that did Dr. Fannin, that did the brain mapping research for bars. I got him to do an interview with me. And it was so cool because he actually said in that, he's like, it was after we were done. He's like, Julie, I don't know if Gary and Dane, who created Access, I don't know if Gary and Dane actually know how profound the data was for Access bars. And he said, I've never seen that change in a human brain in my entire career in neuroscience. It's wow. Wow, dude. And to hear him talk about his first bars, it was after he gave the presentation about the bars data and the research and stuff. But he said he was laying there in a gravity chair and he's like, I could feel my morphogenetic field expanding. And it was just the coolest thing to hear all of his really super technical scientific quantum stuff talk about it. How cool,
That's amazing. Is there any place, do you have a YouTube channel, any place people can see that video?
Yeah, it is on my YouTube channel. Yeah. And it's just under my name. So it's easy to find. I could link it too, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I will make sure I get all of where you can hook up with Julie, because as you can tell, she's an amazing.
I love you.
And if you get to work with her, she's like me. She does things locally, but she also does things that you can, if you're nowhere near her, but you just love her energy, you can find her as well. Do you have a website or do you mostly just do social?
Yeah, I do. It's just my name, juliekaukenan.com. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll put that underneath this. And any last bits before we go? I just have loved this conversation. I definitely want to have more in the future.
Yeah, it's just I think most of us we're always comparing ourselves with other people and all this other stuff and noise is going on, but it's what's just true for you? No one ever, we were conditioned to just go with what's right or wrong. No one ever has asked you what works for you. And what if this is why mental health is suffering so much? Because we're trying to constantly do the right or wrong thing. And how much energy does that take? And it just stresses everyone out. And then they never have just the joy of being them,
and I think that's if you could say one thing that as a bars practitioner or someone who does the classes, you are really, truly giving people that space to have the joy of being them. I love it.
No, right on. It's I think it's what all of this invites us to. And it's man, if we weren't alone and didn't have to do everything alone, and what if the universe is contributing to you and we can just contribute to consciousness and it contributes to us and we just enjoy our life, It's
awesome for me. Yes. And how does it get better than that?
Yeah, I know.
Thank you so much for coming on this.
Thank you, Cara. Right on.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be amazing. I will all let you know in the future when I have her on again, because I'm sure you'll want to join. And we hope you find bars somewhere around you.
No, awesome. No, thank you so much, Cara.
You're welcome. And if you're looking for bars and you're nowhere near Julie and I, you can find bars facilitators at accessconsciousness.com/the bars.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys.